In the summer of 755, a general weighing over 300 pounds rode south with 150,000 soldiers. Behind him, the steppe. Ahead of him, the richest city in the world. In 70 days, he would burn it to the ground. The Tang Dynasty, the greatest civilization on Earth, would lose 36 million people. That is more than the entire population of England at the time. And it all started because an old emperor fell in love. This is not a war story. This is a love story. The most expensive love story in human history. Emperor Xuanzong, the obsessed king, begins his reign as one of the greatest rulers in Chinese history. He inherits a fractured court from the previous empress's successors and rebuilds it into a golden age. Under his rule, Chang'an becomes a city of 2 million, the largest on earth. Poetry, music, and trade flourish. The Silk Road brings Persian merchants, Indian monks, and Japanese scholars to his gates. For 30 years, he is the perfect emperor. His court produces the two greatest poets in Chinese history. The world has never seen a civilization this wealthy, this cultured, this confident. Then he meets her. Yang Guifei, the tragic beauty. She is not his wife. She is not even his concubine. She is his son's wife. The emperor sees her dance, the Hu Xuan, a Sogdian spinning dance, and loses his mind. He takes her from his own son. He makes her his imperial consort. He is 60. She is 26. Xuanzong stops governing. He stops attending court. He builds her palaces. He imports fresh lychees from southern China by relay horse. 1,000 miles in 3 days. Because she likes the taste. He gives her family control of the government. Her cousin becomes chancellor. Her sisters receive titles and estates. The most powerful empire on earth is now run by a woman's relatives, and its emperor spends his days writing love poems. But the empire has a deeper problem. To defend its vast borders, the Tang has created 9 military governors, Yedushi, each commanding their own armies. These are not civil servants. They are warlords with private troops, private taxes, and private ambitions. The most powerful of them controls 3 frontier commands in the northeast. His name is Lushan. Lushan is half Sogdian, half Turkic. A barbarian by Chinese standards. He speaks 6 languages. He weighs over 300 pounds. And he is the most charming man at court. He makes the emperor laugh. He calls Yang Guifei mother. He performs a ridiculous belly dance that delights the court. Everyone underestimates him. That is exactly what he wants. By 750, and Lushan commands 180,000 battle-hardened frontier troops. The imperial capital's garrison has been neglected for decades. Its soldiers are ceremonial, their weapons rusty, their training non-existent. The chancellor warns the emperor that Lushan will rebel. The emperor laughs it off. And Lushan is his friend. And Lushan calls his wife mother. What could possibly go wrong? On November 16, 755, and Lushan raises his banner and marches south. He does not sneak. He does not negotiate. He simply marches with 150,000 men in a straight line toward the capital. The frontier cities fall in days. The emperor's generals are executed by their own panicking troops. In 33 days, the rebels reach Luoyang, the eastern capital, and Lushan captures it without a fight. He declares himself emperor of a new dynasty. Xuanzong finally wakes up. He sends his best general, the defender, with 200,000 conscripts to hold Tongguan Pass, the last natural barrier before Chang'an. The defender begs the emperor to let him defend the pass and wait. The chancellor, Yang Guifei's cousin, overrules him. He orders an immediate attack. It is a massacre. The 200,000 conscripts are slaughtered. Tongguan falls. The road to Chang'an is open. On July 14, 756, Emperor Xuanzong flees Chang'an in the middle of the night. No announcement. No defense plan. The Son of Heaven simply runs. He takes Yang Guifei, her family, and a small guard escort. Behind him, 2 million civilians wake up to discover their emperor has abandoned them. The looting begins before dawn. The imperial convoy reaches Mawei Station, a small post station west of the capital. The soldiers are exhausted, hungry, and furious. They know who caused this. They kill the chancellor first, the cousin who started this catastrophe. They drag his body through the dirt. Then they surround the emperor's tent and deliver their ultimatum. They will not march another step until Yang Guifei is dead. Xuanzong refuses. He begs. He argues that she is innocent. She never governed, never commanded armies, never made policy. She only danced. But the soldiers will not move. The eunuch advisor whispers the truth. If the soldiers mutiny here, everyone dies. The emperor must choose between his lover and his dynasty. He chooses the dynasty. Yang Guifei is led behind a Buddhist shrine. She is given a white silk cord. The most beloved woman in the empire hangs herself at the age of 38. Some histories say the emperor turned away. Others say he watched. A poet will write about this moment a century later. His words will make grown men weep for 1,000 years. They stared at each other, tears streaming down. And the west wind blew, and the palace flowers fell. The soldiers march on. The emperor reaches Sichuan alive. But he is no longer the emperor in any meaningful sense. His son seizes the throne in the north and begins the counterattack. It will take 8 years. 8 years of siege warfare, scorched cities, mass starvation, and foreign mercenaries hired from the Uyghurs and the Tibetans. Allies who will later become conquerors themselves. And Lushan does not enjoy his victory. His own son murders him in 757, stabbing him in his bed, blinding him first because the assassin cannot bear his father's gaze. The rebellion fractures into warlord factions that fight each other as viciously as they fight the Tang. The war becomes a machine that feeds on itself. When the rebellion is finally crushed in 763, the Tang dynasty survives. But it is a corpse that does not know it is dead. The census reveals the catastrophe. Before the rebellion, 53 million registered citizens. After, 17 million. 36 million people. Gone. Dead, fled, or erased from the records by a government that has lost control of its own provinces. It is the largest population collapse in human history until the Black Death. Xuanzong dies in 762, alone in a side palace stripped of all power. He spends his final months playing the same melody on a jade flute, a song he composed for Yang Guifei. The servants say he plays it every night, until the night he stops. The Tang will stagger on for another 140 years. A hollow empire, its provinces ruled by warlords, its borders shrinking, its glory a memory. The Golden Age is over. And it ended, not with an invasion, not with a plague, not with a natural disaster. It ended because one man loved one woman more than he loved his empire. 400 years later, another empire will face a threat that makes an Lushan look like a minor inconvenience. A horde from the steppe will sweep across the entire world, from China to Hungary. They will kill 40 million people across 2 continents. And the last free Chinese will make their final stand at the edge of the sea. Next time, on Eastern Epics. The Apocalypse Riders. Subscribe now. The horde is coming.